Okay. All right. Well, it's 1 o'clock, so I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So we want to welcome you and congratulate you on being elected to Clerks for this upcoming, 4 years. We wanted to train this today, do a small session on accounting overview and resources just to kind of get your feet wet. Before we begin, I kind of want to go over a few housekeeping items. When you entered, we did turn off your video and microphone if you have that availability. It just helps with our broadband. As we are sharing these presentations, it can create a lag sometimes. So at the end of this, we're going to save about 10 or 15 minutes for some Q&A time. At that point, I will give you back control of your cameras and your microphones. If you would like, you can turn them on, ask any questions that you may have. You can also just maybe even introduce yourself, tell us who you are, what county you represent. It's kind of hard when we don't get to meet you in person, so you can do that. We also are recording this event, so what we'll do is we record it. It's already started. At the end, once it's recorded, we will put it up on our website so that you will be able to go back and reference it from time to time. It will be found where the presentation packet is. There will be a link for the recording right underneath of your packets. I also want to point out there is a chat box, so if you have any technical issues or any questions during the session, if you would like to type them in there, we're just monitoring that as we go. Okay, well, I guess we are ready to get started, so I'm going to hand it over to my partner, Lori. She's going to get us started on this. Lori?
I think I'm ready.
Okay. I just gave you privileges.
I'm going to share my screen. Getting better at this.
Good.
Okay. I'm not seeing it yet. There we go. I think we're good to go.
Perfect.
Okay. I am Lori Rogers. I am one of the county directors. You just heard from Ricky, who is our other county director, and I'm going to go over some of the overview, and then she's going to take over and go over some of the resources, specifically some of the websites that holds information that you might find handy as you go along. What we're trying to do in this session is just provide you a high-level overview of your new office, as well as resources that you can use as you assume your duties. It is not possible with 1 hour or even 1 day to give you sufficient training to prepare you for everything you're going to need to know. So again, this is just a high level just to give you an introduction to that. Your training will be ongoing throughout the years that you're in office. We have newly elected training scheduled not only for this month, for January, and also for February. So look for those notices coming out. The state called meeting, the State Board of Accounts state called meeting for clerks is held in June. You will get training from Election Division, from Division of Child Services on the 4D child support programs. Other state agencies may also hold additional training for you. The Association of Indiana Counties and your specific Clerk of the Court Association will also hold district meetings and provide classes that you can take. So there are a multitude of training opportunities available for you. If there's any time you feel that there are topics for training that you would like to see, send those ideas on to us, to Ricky or I, or send them to your association, and we will try to work them into one of these training opportunities. So we always welcome feedback, what works, what doesn't, what you need more information on. So don't hesitate to let us know. So hopefully by now you have some idea of what a clerk of the circuit court does. You ran for this office and successfully were elected, and congratulations on that. I wanted to start with some basic overview of that because I want us all to start on the same page. In the past, I had once heard of a clerk, again, this is 20, 25 years ago, that had no idea that the clerk collected money. She was definitely not prepared for that part of her job, and the county clerk does collect court costs and fees, but your office does so much more. So we're going to discuss some of these duties. I'll go over some of the resources available to help you to your new role. Don't panic. All of this is doable. Clerks before you have accepted these public service positions and been able to succeed and rise to the challenge of them, and only succeed excel, and you can as well. We do like to remind you, don't ever underestimate the collective experience in the staff of your new office. You are, of course, the new office holder. You can make adjustments in duties and roles and in employees, but be sure to listen to them. And if you have a good staff, keep them. Just don't go wholesale in and fire everybody and hire new people, or you're all going to be starting out brand new. So the position of the clerk of the circuit court was created in the Indiana Constitution. If you look in the Indiana Constitution in Article 6, Section 2, it states, there shall be elected in each county by the voters thereof at the time of holding general elections a clerk of the circuit court, auditor, recorder, treasurer, sheriff, coroner, and surveyor, who shall severally hold their offices for 4 years. However, the Constitution does not set out any duties for these offices. You go further down in Section 6 of the Constitution, it says all county, township, and town officers shall reside within the respective counties, townships, and towns, and shall keep their respective offices at such places therein, and perform such duties as may be directed by law. So Indiana law is found in the Indiana Code in statute, and the statute does impose powers, duties, and responsibilities for your office. So to start out, I've listed several statutes on this slide. Ricky's going to take you to the General Assembly website and tell you how to search that. If you're not familiar with that, it's a good idea to become familiar with that and how to search it and look for items. And these are a few statutes you might just want to practice with, pulling up and reading. So the first statute is the location for the Indiana Code for Circuit Court Clerks. Okay. As a short tutorial, the first number in a citation is the title. So Title 33 is on courts and court offices. Most of the other offices are in Title 36, which is local government, but clerks are in the court statute. The second number is the article, and Article 32 in Title 33 is on clerks of the court. And the third number is the chapter. Okay. I did not list a chapter here because there are several chapters under Article 33, actually 5 of them on circuit court clerks. They're not very long, but there are 5 different chapters. What these chapters do is set out the definitions used in the statute, the general powers and duties, your record-keeping duties, child support payments, marriage licenses, and certificate fees. Another important article for clerks in Title 33 is Article 37 on court fees. So that sets out all of the fees that you're collecting for the various cases. So within Article 32 in Title 33, it's going to carry such information as your term of office, your residency, your duties as an election officer. Continued training hours are required, and by statute, you should complete 15 hours of training within the first year of office, 40 years over the next 3 years. For a newly elected clerk of the circuit court, you should complete 5 hours of newly elected training, and that 5 hours goes towards your 15 hours of training within the first year. If you're attending the AIC training last week and attending our additional training in this month, January and February, you will have more than enough opportunity to get the 5 hours that you need. And the same goes for the training for the 15 hours and then the 40 hours for the subsequent 3 years. There are abundance of training opportunities that are available that you can work into your schedule and your time to make sure you meet those requirements. So the third bullet down, Title 5. Title 5 is on state and local administration. Article 4 within that title is on officers' bonds and oaths. You are required to take an oath before taking office that you will uphold the Constitution of the United States, the Constitution of Indiana, and that you will faithfully discharge the duties of your office. This oath must be taken before you take office on January 1st. We're going to talk about this a little bit later at the very end of the presentation, but it's a good idea to find out how your county is doing oaths. for the elected officers so that you can get that done. You must also have an official bond for the faithful performance of duty. That bond is filed with the county recorder. All official bonds are filed with the county recorder. The one exception is the county recorder files their bond with the clerk of the circuit court. They can't record their own bond. They file it with you. And the final number on the citation is the section. So section 1 is on the oath of office. Section 17 sets out the amount that you need to have for bond coverage. So a clerk of the circuit court must be bonded for $30,000 for each $1 million collected in receipts in the last fiscal year. So this includes all of the money that is collected by the clerk that's posted in the trust fund or the child support account. And for clerks, that goes into the millions of dollars. The clerk of the circuit court is a ministerial office for the courts. It holds and has charge of the clerical part of the court. You are not the court. You are the county office, but you hold the clerical duties for the court. So you are the custodian of the court records and the clerical seal. You issue processes, accept filings of commencement of actions and litigation. You enter judgments and orders of the court. You receive money. You make certified copies of record. You issue many licenses, including marriage licenses. And you must keep a record of wills and matters of trust that are in probate proceedings. So there's a lot going on. The clerk also has duties for voter registration records and holding elections. The clerk is statutorily the secretary of the county election board. As we've already discussed, your office will be collecting costs and fees. You are responsible for the proper receipting. Excuse me. My arrows are going crazy. You are responsible for proper receipting, posting, and remittance of those funds. So the clerk has a separate bank account or accounts that your collections are posted to. You will keep a cash book for your daily collections. Your office probably has a case, all of them I think do have a case management system that also has financial software for tracking your collections. Don't know any clerks that actually keep manual records. This system takes the place of the manual cash book. Odyssey is one of the most common systems, but there are other systems like CSI that are also being used. You will also keep a trust ledger and a record of child support collections. The child support goes through the ISET systems. That is one system that may be changing in the near future, and there will be training on that in the future as well. You need to be able to reconcile your daily collections to your deposits. For the costs and fees that you collect, these must be remitted either to the state or to the county auditor. In resources, and Ricky is going to show you where to find that, we have a document that helps you determine where the costs and fees should be remitted. There's actually two documents, one that kind of pulls all of the fees by the type of case out. They come from the statute, so it tells you where to find it in the statute, and they also has a second document that tells you where you remit those fees. For the state, there is a semi-annual distribution. In June, for December through May, you remit your collections that belong to the state, and in December for June through November, you also remit your collections. Now, the remittance that you make to the county is done monthly. You have a report of collections. Often your software produces your report of collections based on one of the receipts that you've posted to that system. You will turn your report of collections and write a check for the amount that's remitted to the auditor and to the treasurer to go through the receipting process and get that money posted to the correct fund on the county's auditor's funds ledger. You will work with DCS on the child support program. Currently, only cash payments are made. Cash child support payments are made at the county level. All other child support payments are sent to the state to process. Again, ISETS is the program that tracks child support enforcement and collections. I believe that the state will be launching a new software for child support next year, so you're going to be looking for training from that. We will have a session in January with DCS on the Title IV-D child support program to give you some introductory information on that. The trust fund represents the collections that are made and being held in trust. So this could be judgments, attorney fees, bonds. For example, this is money that you've collected in that you're going to pay out to somebody else. You're holding it in trust for whoever the payee is. And you will continue to hold it until you remit it to the proper payee, either by court order or by statute when that money is to be remitted. You are required to complete a monthly financial report for all of the funds you are holding that has been reconciled with your bank statement. So every month you must reconcile to your bank, and then you must complete a monthly report for your county that accounts for all of the money that you are holding. So it is very important that each month you have made sure that your records have been reconciled, whether you do it or another employee does it. You need to check it, make sure that you are reconciled, and we're going to be having training in January on the reconcilement process. So Ricky and I really, really, truly want to be resources for you. I've made us the first slide under resources. I've listed our phone number and the email address. We use the county's mailbox as a joint mailbox that we both have access to. We each have a personal email address, and you may see that in, when you take over and get email access for your former clerk. And you're welcome to use that. However, if you use that and one of us is not available, then your email may sit. So like if somebody's on vacation for a week, it may be a week before we even realize the email's in. But if you use the county's email, we both have access to that. We cover it for each other, and your answers are going to be much more, going to receive much more quickly. As I stated, we do try to be as responsive as possible. We do try to get answers out to you. We realize you're under a time crunch as well, but you do have to understand that we have 92 counties, and within each of those counties, we have officers, auditors, recorders, treasurers, all of the clerks. We have sheriffs and prosecutors and judges, health departments, park departments, and lists can go on that we answer questions for. And so, sometimes we get a little bogged down in that. It may take more than 15 minutes to get an answer to your email. So if you send it needing an answer in 15 minutes, you may not get it. You might want to call in that case if we're available. But most of the time we ask that you do give us enough time to research the answer and get it back to you. But we do want to say, please do not hesitate to contact us. There are no stupid questions. If you don't know the answer, that's important. That's not stupid. That's something you need the answer to. You aren't bothering us. This is part of our job. This is something we enjoy doing. We will do everything we can to get an answer to you if we can. We do have one caveat. We are not attorneys. We cannot give you legal guidance. So don't ask if something is legal. We can tell you how the issue may be treated during an audit, which is called an audit position. However, if we tell you that we will not take exception on something, that doesn't necessarily mean that it is the legal way to do it or that that position would hold up in court. So just those are two different questions. We can tell you how to deal with it from an audit point of view, but not how to deal with it legally. It's possible that if you ask a question, we may need to direct you to other agencies if State Board of Accounts is not the appropriate agency to answer your question. So we might send you to Public Access Council, the Election Division, Court Administration. You will be meeting with Court Administration in January, I think. I'll have to double check on that, so that you have name and a face for that agency. And it's a wonderful resource. The clerks really rely heavily on Court Administration. Mainly what Ricky and I do is the accounting end of it, how to account for the fees, how to reconcile, how to remit. If we do provide you guidance in an email on how to handle a certain transaction or report it or document it, keep that email for audit purposes. Also, any of the uniform guidance, these are directives, manuals, and bulletins, and Ricky will show where those are on our website. All of those support your accounting and your compliance requirements. Any comments that you might receive from an audit will be based either on a statute, a uniform compliance guideline, grant agreement, as well as your county's ordinances and policies. Okay, I am going to unshare now.
It is Department of Child Services is in January and Court Technology in February.
Sorry, Court Technology is in February.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Oh. All right. So just thought I'd share that. Let's see what we've got here. Okay, so you should have a packet of information that, tell me when you can see that.
It's up.
Awesome. A packet of information. I'm going to kind of go away from that, but it's there. It gives you kind of detailed instructions on how to find certain things that we're going to go over. But I thought I'd kind of walk you through it myself. So, you know, you're new in office. This is really just an idea, something to give you to play with, just to kind of take a second, look through it, know where you can find things. Again, no memorization, just so you know where to go. So we always start with our website because, you know, it's our website. It's where we should start, right? So for the State Board of Accounts, this is our website. It's indiana.gov/SBOA. So if you come to this website, one thing I want to point out that we have this year is that obviously coronavirus has played a huge part, and so we have issued numerous memos and information and directives. We have placed all of those that have to do with the coronavirus here. Not all of these are necessarily going to be something you need to know, but there are a few things that Lori's going to go over later, like continuing of essential services and things like that you may need to know. So if you need that information, it's going to be found down in here. One of the first things we think is important is when you're walking into your new office is it's kind of nice to know what you're walking into. What was the last audit report? Were there any findings in the clerk's office during the last audit? And so to be able to find that, it's fairly simple. Go to our website here. You can see the blue banner right here, and we have the little search reports button. If you click there, it will take you to our audit report filings database. Okay. Counties are the easiest to search for because you can search by unit type, which is county, and then you can search by your county. I've been selecting Adams. We're going to stick with it since it's number 1 on the list. So in this, it will drop down all of Adams County audits, and I think this one goes back to, like, I want to say 1998 are referenced, but they're not all online until I think it's 2003 is the first one that's online. So 6 is a 6. So if you pull it up, it's got this right here. This is your link to open up the audit reports over here. If it's not blue, then it's just the reference and you'd have to call and ask, okay? So you're the clerk's office, so you are audited as part of the county, so it would all be combined into one big audit report. So our audit reports, where we issue our opinion on the financial statements, will end up being here, which it will say this one says non-federal, but it'll be financial audit report. In this case, it says non-federal because it was not a federal audit. If it had been a federal audit, it would be replaced with the word federal. To qualify for a federal audit, you have to spend $750,000 in federal expenditures. So each county is a little bit different. But what you really want to look for is this supplemental report right here. The supplemental report would be any audit results and comments. Those are reportable findings that we find within any of the offices for the county, and they're all housed here. So if there's any for the clerk's office, it will have its own separate section inside the supplemental report to let you know. If there's nothing in there for the clerk's office, unfortunately, it doesn't mean that your office is perfect. It just means that it's something that we didn't see during the audit. So it might come up later if there's something there, but, just take a look so at least you kind of have an idea of what's going on. Okay, let's go back. So the other thing about our website is that we have a page that's just dedicated to clerk information. Okay, that way you're not searching through all the different offices and trying to find yours. And the easiest way to go there is you have to pick political subdivisions. You can either do it here, which drops down a menu, or you can click here and it just opens up a new window with the same choices. And you choose counties from here. Counties is, and I click on it, right? Yeah, okay. Counties is, the thing that applies to everyone. So this is where all of our newly elected is right now. Even though we're doing these sessions, it's nicer to have it all in one spot so you can all see it together versus trying to parse it out on the individual pages. But once you're here, if you scroll down, underneath our contact information is county offices. This is where you're going to select Clerk of the Circuit Court. This brings up the Clerks page. So I'm just going to kind of go over these kind of quickly so you can kind of see what's on this page. It starts out with, again, our contact information that Lori gave you. It's got our phone number. There's a little yellow envelope. I think it's yellow. For me, it's very difficult to see next to our names, but if you click on it, it'll actually bring up an email box and allow you to email to our county's box that we share. The other thing I want to point out is right underneath here, and I sort of feel like maybe we need to put something there, that like an arrow or something, something bigger for everybody to notice it. We have recently switched to what we call an eGov delivery system. Basically, we have distribution lists of different elected officials. And so this is how we get information to you in like a mass email. So what we need from you is that once you get your official county email, we need you to come here, and the link is right here where it says this page, and it will open up a fillable form. We need your official county email so that we're sending it there. You can also choose which subscription group that you would like to be a part of, and all you have to do is hit next. You will be added to that distribution list. This is very important because if you have ever, the email that you get, if it has ever been a part of this eGov delivery system and it has somehow unsubscribed to something, the system will not allow us to add you. So it's extremely important for you to go in and to add yourself so that you get the memos and things that we send out. We do not send out daily updates. We don't really send out weekly updates. We only send out information that we need to get out to you. So things like bulletins, those are only done quarterly. If we do any kind of memos, those would come out. Our conferences, a lot of times we put out stuff through, the conferences that we call. So things like that. Also, when you get your official county email, if you wouldn't mind to email us at the county's email address, that will help us with the rest of the newly elected. We cannot separate the newly elected officials from the group that's already on the distribution list. So we're sending those emails out separately. Right now, I just have some personal emails because your county email hasn't been given to you yet. So as soon as you can get that, if you could get it to us, and we'll switch it over so that we're sending it all to your county email. Okay. So quickly, at the very top, we put hot topics. These are things that maybe are big questions that happen. Right now is the gateway upload announcement, some things like that, which we're going to go over tomorrow. So hopefully you can kind of join in on that. We also have a place that has an overview of the clerk's office, which Lori already went through. A section for corrective action plans. The clerk's office, may have this if you have any findings on any kind of reports. It's a repeat finding, and again, we'll kind of go over that at a later point. I do want to point out internal control standards. Every office is required to have internal controls. Not only protects you, but it protects your staff, from things happening. It allows you to help prevent or correct errors that may occur. So this right here goes through the standards. It talks about the policy itself and any required certifications. There's some training information. Just a lot of good information is within this. So it's nice to take a look and see what's out there. The uniform compliance guidelines that Lori was speaking about earlier that talk about the findings that are written can be mostly found here. This one doesn't have the directives. So the other page, or the other pages, I believe, have directives above here. Is it just counties?
I think it's just
so the directives aren't included here, but they are part of our guidelines. But the clerk has its own manual. So if you click here, I guess I'm going to do it backwards order. So the clerk's manual is down here. This is all clerk centered. Okay, so if you have any accounting questions, any of that, this is the manual. This is what we go to. There's a nice index if you're looking up a topic, anything like that. Just good reference. Again, don't need to memorize it. Just know where it's at. Maybe be a little familiar with how to use it. We also have an internal control manual. This, is just some light reading for, any day. I'm just kidding. It's not. But if you want to kind of really dig deep into your internal controls, this is a nice place to kind of start as well, especially if you're just getting your feet wet. We also have an information technology manual, which kind of goes along with, using softwares and things like that, and things to be on the lookout for. We kind of mentioned bulletins a little bit. I also included, I think, I just released December's bulletin last week, and so we went ahead and included that in your packet so you could kind of see what that's like. We put out bulletins quarterly. These bulletins are really county-wide, so it could be the clerk's office or the auditor's office, treasurer's office. I mean, it really is all-encompassing. There are audit positions and things that we update. We update them every 10 years. So, 10 years ago, I take that bulletin, I update all of the information, and then we add new articles, almost every bulletin, actually. So it's always good to kind of take a look, see if there's any changes. That's just kind of a really great way for us to get information out. If anything, any audit position would change between, now and the next bulletin, then we'll put it in that next bulletin as well. So if you want to search these, we wouldn't expect for you just to go to each one. We do include an index up here at the top. If you click there, it does open our county bulletin index. It is 24 pages long, so it is very lengthy. We tried to put them in alphabetical order by topic. So let's see, if you go to, sorry, past it, clerk. We have a section here that we try to keep together for the clerk so you can find things a little bit easier. Doesn't mean these are the only ones that apply to you. It's just where we try to keep some of them. So if you were really looking for something on the bond administration fee, you could come down here, you see it, you come over here and you know it's in the bulletin volume 381, page 9, okay? And so then you could just come right back over here, find 381, which is in January of 2012. You open it up, and I think I said page 9. So page 9 is where you would find that information. Okay, so I know we're doing these sessions now, but we do an annual State Board of Accounts called meeting for the clerks annually in June, right? Okay. We didn't do them all this year. They were all jumbled. So, so when we do any kind of presentation, whether it's live or it's been virtual, we put all of our presentations in a PDF format and we place them here underneath presentations and training materials so that you have access to them before that meeting. If we do any recordings like the one we're doing now, those recordings would be included here as well. In fact, this year we did our very first session like this with the clerks. We did it back in October on election payroll. And so the first one here, we put the PDF presentation, and if you wanted to watch it, there's a YouTube video of the presentation here. So you can kind of take a look at past presentations. We go back to 2016 here. So that's kind of a nice resource, too, to see what's been trained on in the past. We also have a link to our YouTube channel. So we do have other videos that we've put out, small little bites, 5 to 10 minutes here and there. We're planning to add to those. So, that's kind of a nice resource, too. And they're just available there for you to rewatch as you might need. Okay. Moving along, we have resources. So while we're talking about resources, we also list some additional resources on our webpage. Things that you might need to know, state court administration, auditor of state, election division. This is all links to their website. The 3 at the bottom are very important. We included these in your packet as well, but these are your fee schedules. The 2 right here are your fee schedules. So one is the fees by case type. So you have to use them together. This tells you how much that you can charge, okay? And then when you come down to the fee distribution, it tells you where it goes. So we'll kind of go more on that later, but if you want to take a look at them, again, they're included in your packet or they're linked right here. We update these every year with any new legislative changes that come through. So if we do update that, this is where we update it. We also have a little thing on receipting process, so you can kind of take a look there. Another important part is the Indiana codes. So we're going to go over to that website here shortly, but we do want to give you a reference of some really things that are asked about a lot. These are common ones that we get lots of questions on, so they're here. But if you're looking for clerk-specific statutes, they're under other miscellaneous. If you click that arrow, it comes down and it gives you, just clerk-specific. If you were looking for the marriage license and distress sales, there's your statute that you're going to go to. The last two at the bottom is that, field staff come in. If you want to give a comment on SBOA staff, I guess you could comment on Lori and I if you wanted to. I think of it as more field because they're really with you more than we are, even though, we're a great resource but anyway, you can comment there. But the one I really want to point out is responsibilities under IC 511-127. This is a requirement in statute to report to us all erroneous and irregular material variances, losses, shortages, or thefts of local funds or property. So if you're aware of anything or think something, you're required to report it to us. So this would be the fillable form you'd fill out. Once it's submitted, it does get sent to us, okay? And so questions might come from there, but that is a lot of information. Again, don't memorize it. I just kind of wanted to briefly go over it so you could see what it looks like. We have updated our website. We are updating a searchable feature, and hopefully it'll be more topic-centered. We have some big plans. We're kind of excited to see these all unfold in the next few months. And as they do, we'll probably provide additional training on it just to help with the resources. How am I doing on time? Getting there.
Doing good.
Okay, so tomorrow we are going to be doing a gateway overview, which is there's really two sides of gateway. Tomorrow we're talking about one side, but today I just want to briefly talk about the public side of gateway. The public side of gateway allows you to go in and look at annual financial reports. You could look at the 100R, which is the reporting of compensation of employees. It allows you to look at budgets, all kinds of things. It's just really a great resource. Your citizens use it. We use it. It's just something that you should kind of be familiar with both sides of it. So if you come into it, you can click on all of these. I always just say search reports. That's where you're going to find everything. To me, that's the easiest. This lists everything that you can look at. You can search. You can either click here, like for annual financial report, and you can pick what you want to look at, and then you can break it down by unit, or you could search by unit. You could put, since we did Adams County, we'll just do Adams County again. Oops. Now here's all Adams County stuff. So I could click on it, I could bring it up, and I could look at it. What you do need to remember is that only through 2019 is available right now. Any information for 2020 is not on here yet because, 2020 is not done yet. So anyway, it'd just be kind of a great place to take a look at. You could look at your county. You could look at other counties. Again, this is all the public information, but not all information that's put into Gateway is public, and we're going to go into that more tomorrow. So, but anyway, good resource. Take a look, play with it. The other one I want to do, okay, make sure we have the right statute.
Yeah, I had to.
You had to. I was like, okay, so is the Indiana General Assembly, which I have mine bookmarked here because this is where I like to start. But in the PowerPoint presentation, it will bring you to here. This is something that I have up on my computer every single day. I bet Lori's going to tell you the same thing. I leave it on one of my additional monitors over here. I search it every single day. Every question that comes, normally there's a statute involved somehow. I do not have them memorized. I'm not going to try and memorize them, not when I know how to research them here. Or you have Lori, who I can call and say, I can't remember what's the statute on this, because she remembers a lot of them. So to start out with, you can hit code here. So if you know exactly where you're going, this is where you can search. You search by title, article, chapter, and section. You don't have to have all four. So in the case of the clerk, we could do 33-32-2 and not do the last one. It would take just a second because I'm running off of a hotspot. And then with the WebEx on top of that, my computer says, "Oh, I can't move that fast." Another good thing about this is while that's loading, oh, there we go. At the top, you have other things that you can look at. You can go over and look at new legislation, bills that are out there, resolutions by legislator, by subject. There's all kinds of ways to search this. Again, a wealth of information on this website. But if you were interested in knowing, what the clerk's powers and duties are, you would go to 33-32-2, and then you could kind of scroll through and see, here's the election term. Here's your bond information. Here it talks about the clerk's office. So be familiar at least with where in code your information is. Again, you don't have to have it memorized. Just if you're familiar with where it is, it just makes it easier when you need to find something. There's different ways, like I said, to search this. You can either, if you have a basic idea, you can type it up here. If not, you can also, I tend to use this side. I don't know why. I tend to find it easier to use for me, but it may not be for you. So you can just play around to find which way works better for you. Also, if you do see a statute that maybe was changed let's say got changed in 2020 and you want to know what 2019 statute says, you can go up here and you can change. You can go back as far as 2009 just to see what that previous statute said and what that change was. All right, a few more minutes, and another website that's really good is your Association of Indiana Counties. If you were available last week and watched their trainings over there, we work very closely with them, but here is their website. Again, a wealth of information. Conferences are on here. Their members are on here. They put lots of news on here, all kinds of things. So that's kind of a nice one to have bookmarked. Also, another one would be your Association of the Clerks of the Circuit Courts of Indiana. This is another great website that you would have. I know that your Clerks Association president, Jay, is really great to work with as well. We do like to work with them on future trainings. So we are very involved with the affiliate associations. Okay, I am going to, again, this is all just for resources. So please, just take a look at it if you have a moment. Don't spend a ton of time on it. Just kind of know where it's at and what's available to you. I am going to turn it back over to Lori for a few more additional slides, and then we'll open up the Q&A. And there you go.
So these slides are in your packet and kind of just write out what she went through. So if you forgot where she was pointing or clicking, it'll give you some information on that. Oops, went too far. Okay, so what we are advising, as you all know, COVID has been a horrible thing to be under this year, and what it's done for our governmental agencies has been equally difficult. We get calls, we try to track it, and believe me, it's very difficult, who's closed when within the counties. And so you just never know. You can be open one day and close the next. So we recommend that you get a contact person for your county. It might be a commissioner, it might be a council member, another elected official, someone you're comfortable talking to that's going to keep you in the loop so you have information on courthouse closings or restrictions. Is it employees only, closed to the public? Is it closed to everyone? For how long? You just want to know what that information is because that's your office. So you'll need to know whether or not you can even access that, physically access that office. As I said earlier, you want to know how your oaths are given. There's a good possibility they're going to do them virtually this year just to avoid any in-person. So contact your county and find out how that's going to be done. You also want to know how to access your office on the 2nd of January. Normally you just walk in. However, it may not be open. So again, find out if it is open to employees only, to just you, or not at all, so that what access you do have. Do you get your keys so that you can get into the courthouse or get into the office? Also, try to get access to email and contact information for your staff. Again, if your office was closed or the courthouse is closed on the 2nd of January and you're starting office, I hope that doesn't happen to any of you. But if it does, you're going to have to start remotely. So you're going to have to figure out how to work from a distance. And so you'll want to be in some kind of contact with your staff as you work that information out. And goes along with this, we did, as Ricky pointed out, we did issue a memo in April of this year on continuity of essential operations. And so we recommended every office have a plan for continuing operations during an emergency. We sent it out all to the elected officials, so we're hoping they have done that. This plan was extremely important this year during COVID and the shutdowns that caused, but it should be an ongoing plan that you keep, because there are other things that can come up. There could be a cyber attack that shuts your systems down. There could be a natural disaster, flood, tornado, something that keeps your office from being open, and you need to have some sort of plan going forward in how you are going to conduct your essential operations during that time. The government can't just shut down. So you need to be aware of that. You're going to have to work with your judges when the courts are open and that kind of information. So we recommend that you do contact if you're in contact with your predecessor clerk, which I hope you are, that you can find out if the plan has been established and if possible get a copy of it. If it hasn't, then you're kind of a little late to the game, but never too late. So you'll want to start working on your own plan. We figure COVID is going to be with us for a few more months until these vaccines are all out, and we can start going back to a more normal operation. So if you don't have it already, you'll want to start on that plan. Okay, and we are ready for questions, so I'm going to stop sharing.
Okay. I am going to give you all control of your microphones and your cameras. If you'd like to turn them on, again, ask any questions that you have, or just introduce yourself to us. We like to put faces with names, and so, but we ask that you just try not to talk over each other, because that makes it difficult to hear. I've got one here I can't change. I have a Marjorie on here, and hopefully you can hear me. I cannot change you, but you don't look like you're muted. Let me see if I can do it. Okay. So, do you guys have any questions for us? I saw one camera. See, is it?
It's
her name went away. Destry.
Yeah. Hi.
Hi.
I figured out. I hit the little button.
And which county are you from?
Cass County.
Cass County. Okay. Okay. You have to bear with us. There's 90, like she said, there's 92 counties and 92 auditors and 92 treasurers. So we like to put that face with the name, and so that we can get to know you well.
Okay.
But congratulations.
Thank you. Took my oath Saturday, so.
Okay.
Awesome. So you're already ahead of the game.
Yes.
Anybody else want to say hi? No? Not scary, I promise. You could also put something in the chat box if you don't want to say anything out loud. Again, if we were in person, we would have done like a meet and greet. Everybody tell who they are and where they're from.
And stand up and say your name, and so you're kind of getting a break here,
right? I think do a talent portion, but maybe the next time. Says Wendy, I see you. Said you're from Scott County. Well, hello, Wendy.
Hi. I don't know if you can hear me.
Yes, we
We
can.
Oh, hallelujah. I'm not all technical challenged. I have my camera, I think, covered up, and I'm not real presentable. That's the great thing about wearing your sweatshirt on.
It's just casual Wednesday.
Yeah.
Casual. Yeah, I'm definitely casual. I just got back from vacation, but thank you all for putting all this together. I don't know how much remote I will be doing. I believe I have access to my court already with the current clerks. It's been wonderful transitioning with me already checking through a lot of boxes. Planning to do a couple swear-ins. I don't know what's typical, but I'm kind of a traditionalist. I wanted to do it in the courtroom. The judge is willing to do individual sessions, and he'll do both, that as well as a Zoom if you want to do that. Wow. I prefer to go in person with a 15-minute with my family only. We're limited. That's with my courthouse. Has anyone done another ceremony maybe with their party in general? Like our party won big this year. And they want to also have a ceremony for all of the elected officials in that party. So I'm kind of doing both.
Hi.
Excellent.
Yeah, at least it's nice of you to be a little traditional on that.
Yeah, I understand the changes and everything. So we have a great IT guy. I think that will also be my go-to for technical challenges.
Yes, get to know them very well, butter them up as much as necessary. You will need them.
Yes. So I do have a lot of questions I'm sure I will have down the road. And, right now I'm drilling my current clerk. She's probably ready to move on to her other job. But hope I can meet everybody. Look forward to doing it. I actually worked at the Scott County Sheriff. I was appointed matron when my husband ran for sheriff 2 terms. So I have 8 years as matron in the sheriff's department. I was more administrative there, and then I had to leave there and worked with the state of Indiana for a year and a half as a office manager, which I got, with state, there's a lot going on there. So I'm already familiar with state, policies and all the searches things that y'all are doing now. So it's kind of prepared me to where I am as clerk. So look forward to diving in. It's good. It's a lot.
Yeah, that is awesome.
Yeah. So that's all.
Well, I saw Daryl Stevens. I saw his picture
for a second.
He said he wasn't sure if his audio is working, but I don't know. So I don't know if you want to try and see if your audio is working, Daryl. Oh,
Not hearing anything.
I'm not hearing anything, so I don't know. It may not be working. Yeah, he says audio is not working. Well, I did see you, so it was nice to put a face to a name. Well, I will tell you that we have already planned out January sessions, and we do have February sessions as well. I'm working on getting all of that gathered together. We plan on sending it out next week before Christmas, and so that you guys have plans to kind of get it on your calendar and see. This, again, was just a very high-level overview. We are going to dig down deeper into some, other topics. But we didn't really want to overwhelm everybody at the very, very beginning, just kind of a broad overview, just to kind of get your feet wet. And then if you guys think of any other trainings that you might think are necessary that we're not giving, or you've had an issue coming into office, we could maybe put something together. There's options to add to these sessions. We want them to be as valuable to you as possible going in. So please keep that in mind. Again, our email's always there, so you can always email us. If we don't know the answer, we'll try and help you get to the person who does. But the sessions are just, a really good way. Again, this is my first time doing newly elected, so you have to bear with me. I kind of wish I got to meet everybody because that's the fun part. It's the social interaction. The other thing I wanted to mention was Lori was talking about the training that you receive for these. So what we're doing is every time you log in, I have a record that you attended the session. We will not be sending out the certifications of training hours until February. We think it's easier to send you out one certification with all of your hours on it versus trying to send you one after every session. Not only is that a nightmare for us, that'd be a nightmare for you to keep it all together. So it will be in February when you get that. And again, if you want to come back and get any of these, they're going to be recorded and they'll be put up on our website. In fact, I'm getting these recordings within an hour of us being finished with them. So I will try and get them. I'll probably get them to our webmaster. I hate calling him that, but our webmaster. I'm going to try and get them to him tomorrow afternoon, so they may be up by Friday.
Hey, I got my camera working.
Oh, I see somebody. There's Wendy.
Hi.
Yeah, if I don't know if you could say a silver lining with all this. Normally, the newly elected is we had you for one day in December, and we just kind of tried to get as much as we could into you on that one day. By doing it virtually, we're able to kind of spread it out, and so that's why we were doing the overview in December, and what we hope to do in January and February, after you've been in office and you're actually looking at your financial records and looking at your reconcilements and maybe have some idea of what we're talking about, it's going to make more sense. So that's kind of, the one benefit of this. And the benefit of the sessions, even as we go back to in-person, which we hope to do as soon as possible, is we still have the ability to do these kind of short sessions if there is something, a hot topic or an issue that a lot of clerks are having questions on. We can pull together a session to kind of talk to you all at the same time. So we're not unhappy with the virtual part of this other than we miss seeing you, but it does have its benefits as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yes. And we hope that when we do get together virtually, come find us, introduce yourself to us again, so that we in person, so that we can, really get a better idea. This is great, but when I meet you in person, I think it'll stick better. And we do. We just want to meet you in person. So please. Or if we mispronounce your name, I had another session where I couldn't pronounce a woman's name to save my life. I tried. I really tried. And my name is mispronounced all the time. So I said, you come to me at the next session and you tell me how to pronounce your name so that I get it correctly from here on out. So, we hope that you guys found this really helpful. We got to thank you for Daryl for the session. So I'm glad. And again, if you have any questions moving out, let us know. But if you don't have anything else for us today, we'll let you guys go to enjoy your afternoon.
I do have one last, and I'm so sorry. Yeah, I told you I have questions. My new chief hasn't started with me yet. She's actually an in-county already and is not actually going to be able to come in with me until 2 weeks into the year. Not my ideal situation. However, I'm doing it to help her out so she doesn't. She's afraid of losing longevity. So anyway, we're trying to cross that bridge without any hiccups on her part. Do you have any advice on where I can get her trained on some things? And we are going to talk about her role with me, working together. Is there anything you think you could guide me on getting my chief ready on board with me? I want her as a running mate. I just, the way my husband and I worked in the sheriff's office, we can't do it all by ourselves. You have to delegate. You have to trust everyone to do their job. And one of the big ones with her job description currently is the elected official clerk. And I know there's election stuff, registration, voter registration, and all that. And I may be getting off to a whole nother subject and need to contact them. I just want to know my responsibilities to cover for her, for the 2 weeks until she starts.
I mean, she can go back and watch some of these if she's looking for, once we get into like the really accounting, information, she has these at her resource. These are free. They're going to be up on the website. Anybody can go and watch those. It's not something that, we only give to you guys. So for the accounting portion, you could do that. I am not sure, and Lori might be able to answer this better. Does Election Division do anything?
There probably will not be any training from Election Division next year because there's no elections. But they do a training specifically for voters registration, and they're available now. You can contact them at any time. Brad and Angie are easy to talk to. So if she has specific questions about it, you're probably not going to get too much activity in voters registration right now because there's no elections coming up.
Right.
But that's something, give her some time to learn her job. But there should be materials that are in the office already that Election Division has provided that they can look at. And if there's not, again, you can reach out to Election Division and they will be happy to help you with any of that.
Sounds great. Will do. Thanks.
Okay, is there anybody else before we let you go?
I think I'm good. Thank you very much for all your help. I'm sure I'm going to have lots of questions. I've come from I was the office manager for the prosecutor's office here in Cass County for about 2.5 years, so this is totally new for me.
Yep.
So, but I have a good.
And to be honest, I have only been in this position for 2 years, so bear with me as I do some of this stuff new as well. So, okay. Well, we will let you guys go for the afternoon. It was really good to see you. Hope that you join us tomorrow to talk about the research. Again, we'll get really in-depth individual offices in January. So tomorrow's just an overview. We're going to bring all of you together, clerks, auditors, recorders, treasurers, all in one thing and just do a big basic overview. So I'm not doing the same presentation 4 times. But we'll still open it up to questions and things at that point at the end if we have time.
Okay, perfect.
All right.
Thank you for attending today. Don't be a stranger. You know how to reach us now.
Yep.
We'll call you.
Hey, you do that.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.